I have over, I would say, between 40 to 50 pairs of everything. So, I have about 50 jackets. I have about, I would say, over 50 wigs at this point, because it's hard to find a tailor in the 21st century that can make colonial gear for a founding father.
Yeah.
So the only place you can find them is really Halloween costume stores nowadays, which is upsetting to me, but at least without spending $2,000.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Behind the Scene podcast, episode number 14. I am greatly honoured to be joined by the founding father today, BenJammins. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Love your content, and definitely excited to talk to you over, talk about content, talk about gaming, talk about what's going on with my life right now. Definitely thrilled to have thrilled to be on the podcast. So thanks for having me on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been kind of in your DMs for a little bit now. I have wanting to get you on just because I think there's just so many different things to your kind of content, and really wanted to like just get a little bit kind of a better understanding of like you and what goes in to kind of everything that you put on for stream and your content. So I guess let's just dive straight in and go with like what inspired you to start streaming. I've had one person on the podcast who has what I would say like a streaming character, and I'm really like curious to know like when you started streaming, and then at what point did you then decide that you were going to go all in with the character, and why, and your inspirations for that, and then we'll go from there and go into a bit more depth about it.
Yeah, definitely. So it started back in 2014. The idea, the concept of BenJammins. My actual name is Ben, so I was thinking, well, I loved watching live streams. For the most part, I was watching Hearthstone live streams, but I was thinking, okay, if I was to stream, what would my stream name be? What would I really do to entertain people? Because everyone does the same thing. I feel like from my end, from my perspective, I like watching more unique characters in terms of their personalities. So it's, well, I'm not funnier than anyone else. I'm not more entertaining. I'm not better at the game than anyone else. And what's going to differentiate me from the pack? And so this is 5, 6, 7 years ago. I was thinking, well, my name's Ben. I could do something with the $100 bill with Benjamin Franklin. And the original idea was to just have a $100 bill overlay with just me in the middle, and I could maybe crack some memes and some jokes, something like that. Maybe have kind of like a stream deck or like a macro, so I can throw memes up on the screen, something that entertain people. But I also wasn't the best in terms of social speaking or speaking in public either. But over the course of a few years, with my I worked in finance. I was a manager over there as well, so I was able to pick up a lot of public speaking skills, and I was able to say, hey, maybe I can start live streaming a little bit. But I didn't want to just live stream, and I didn't want to jump right into my game at the time was Warzone. That was mainly what I was playing. I wasn't good at Warzone, so I was like, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to be different than others? So instead of just streaming right away with just normal myself, I was like, well, what if I actually was Benjamin Franklin, but still my own personality a little bit, still maybe a goofier, funnier, more unique version, and then have a backstory behind that as well. So, but how is that going to fit into the 21st century? So that's where the time traveling comes into play. And so my very first stream, I was already the persona, the character, so I've never streamed without it. And that was about 2 years ago now, back in September 2020, and started making content right away. So my very first post, I posted to Reddit, and that video blew up on Instagram, on Reddit, on YouTube, not on my account, but on other accounts. And that kind of triggered my mind, saying, hey, I can do this for a living down the road, but you don't want to jump into live streaming or to content creation with the idea that you can actually do it for a living. So
what did you post on Reddit? Sorry,
I posted a clip, just a random clip that I recorded on Reddit, and it got 100 million views across the internet. And so just that kind of put a fire underneath me. I know.
Wait, what subreddit?
Call of Duty Warzone subreddit. So COD Warzone.
Oh, nice. Shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, so it was like a funny thing that I did. So the original concept was for me to just do funny things in Warzone, because everyone takes the game so seriously. Let me do something that's different. I'm not good at the game, so let me just do funny things. So when I first started live streaming, after that clip, people would start coming to my live stream, 5-10 concurrent viewers within the first week or two, which is a lot for a brand new streamer. And I would just do goofy things, and people started to enjoy that. And I was already wearing the colonial wig. I was already doing that. I already had ordered the colonial fit as well. It was backlogged from the 18th century, but I was able to get it after a couple months. So my first couple months of videos, I posted on TikTok right away because I understood that posting content was very important in terms of growing a live stream. Yeah. And I think I think in my heart I still like making content better than live streaming, which is odd to say because I love live streaming so much and people like my live stream content. At least I've been told. I don't know, but so in terms of I really love posting the content and I love making people laugh, but I really don't know where I was going with that. But in terms of it's I don't know. I got sidetracked, but either way,
that's perfect.
Making content was essentially was my goal, and so after the couple months of not having the fit, so that's why again backtrack a little bit. You'll see me in a black T-shirt for the first couple months, or a polo T-shirt, because I was waiting for that Benjamin Franklin fit to be delivered. And so it looked a little goofy. People thought the hair was real because it made no sense. Like, okay, what is this lad doing with the glasses and the hair? And so the inspiration on the actual, like, with the glasses and the hair too, is from, I don't know if you've seen in like Walmart or in like any store where they sell those patriotic Benjamin Franklin portraits on T-shirts, but he has Ray-Bans on to make him look cooler. That's where the inspiration came from. So it's like, okay, I can be like a cool Benjamin Franklin, but it turned into more like a cool and goofy Benjamin Franklin, I guess. But
that's cool.
That's a little bit of the background there.
That's interesting that you went from day one in that. I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about then the practicality. I really want to know about the practicalities of dressing up all the time. So what you've got on now is how many variations and how many, like, how much of the clothing do you have? Like,
So I have I've tried different styles. This one is the comfiest. This one is the best that fits the brand. Although this one's also the cheapest. I've bought more expensive colonial fits that don't really fit the bill for Benjamin Franklin. But I have over, I would say, between 40 to 50 pairs of everything. So I have about 50 jackets. I have about I would say over 50 wigs at this point, because this, these costumes per se, it's not a costume in my eyes, but it's hard to find a tailor in the 21st century that can fit that can make colonial gear for a founding father. Yeah. So the only place you can find them is really Halloween costume stores nowadays, which is upsetting to me, but at least without spending $2,000. But you have to buy so many because, for example, I did one hot tub stream that ruins it. The colonial powdered wig. It after, let's say, about 2 or 3 months, you have to cycle them through because they start to get they just stop. They just fall apart. They break apart. So it's just uncomfortable to wear those. So you have to have a rotation of them just to make sure that you're able to always constantly stream. Because if someone discontinues something, then you're out of luck. Because this is my branding. So you have to make sure that you have at least a good chunk of clothing and wigs on standby in case they were to discontinue it, because otherwise I could find myself having a situation where I'm out of wigs. No, maybe my buttons fall apart, and it's not the best, most well-made jacket or pants either. So it's really hard to bring to someone to kind of sew back together. But I'd be straight out of luck because that's my branding. So one day I can't be wearing a Thomas Jefferson outfit, right? It's got to be, it's got to stick to the branding a little bit. But that's, so I do have a lot of clothes related to Benjamin Franklin.
So your wardrobe, you have a specialist wardrobe, I guess.
I have a wardrobe for Ben, and I have a wardrobe for Benjamin Franklin. I think on my Instagram, I'll start posting like weekly pictures of just like all my jackets and pants and wigs just lined up. I think it would be pretty funny.
How do you then, like, what's your routine then for, I guess, pre-stream or pre-content? Because I guess when I want to record a TikTok or a video, I can just sit here and turn my camera on. You've got to, I guess, dress up. So how do you manage the challenges of that?
Yeah, I have to. Usually, I spend about 3 hours mentally preparing. I just sit there and mentally prepare to throw a wig on, and then you know, I don't know if you know, but the forehead right here is plastic. A lot of people think it's a real forehead, but it's not the comfiest wig to wear because
I can
it's
just see
a
it.
whole plastic piece to it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just don't tell anyone else that though. But yeah, it takes me between 20 and 30 minutes because I wear a lav mic underneath too. So whenever I get up from my desk, I can also walk around and talk to the chat with that lav mic. So I route it up through me and through buttons. So between everything, I would say 20 to 30 minutes to get prepared just from the putting everything on and making sure it's looking at least okay. Yeah, so I would say that's a longer preparation than most people have to. Some days I do wish I want to sit down and just record for 5 minutes, but I've learned to bulk my content a little bit. So I write scripts for, let's say, 4 or 5 videos, and I'll sit down and just chug out, you know, all those recordings all at the same time. So that way I can sit down and I can edit for the next 2 or 3 days without having to think about actually having to record scripts or intros, stuff like that.
You say you bulk edit and script. Do you how often in advance are you doing that? Like for about like a week? It sounded like, or
I would say like every 4 or 5 days. Because usually I come up with new ideas that makes me want to either re-record something or to record something new.
Yeah,
so I would say, you know, maybe like 2 times a week I would try to bulk. I have so many different ideas that I'll just sit down and then I'll go and edit something after I record, and I'll say, oh, this is not good enough, or this is, you know, I don't like this, I'll tweak it this way. So it just varies, honestly.
how does that then impact your, I guess, posting cadence? Do you have anything that you try and I don't think you're necessarily a one a day. I'm just wondering, like, do you post when you feel like it's ready? Do you make sure you get something out, I don't know, with 3 days? Like, how do you look at like your posting schedule?
Yeah, so unless there's a urgent thing, like we can get into it later with the Amouranth thing, where I just threw a video out because I needed retweets for an Amouranth retweet. I needed a video out right away, so I posted that video, even though it wasn't the best video, just to get me, you know, be able to get something on time. Or if there's a brand deal, I need to post something at a certain time or dates. But for the most part, I won't post a video nowadays unless I feel like it's ready to be posted. It's, you know, hit or miss, but I don't want to just check out anything. On the other hand, too, I think it just varies. When I first started, it was more important to post at least, you know, once every couple days to start, just to see what's working, what's not working in the algorithm. I have a better idea now what will do well versus will do well on TikTok, on YouTube. Like, I can post a video and I know that it'll do bad on TikTok, but it'll do a little better on YouTube Shorts down the road, or vice versa. But yeah, for the most part, I think it's quality over quantity for me now. But I think for, you know, someone that's newer, I think it could be the opposite. Just, you know, it's kind of throwing dirt at the wall and just seeing what hits, what works.
Yeah, I think I get. Yeah, I agree with you there, because I think I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I think once you get an account on TikTok that's of certain size, it's like the difference between you getting 100K video and a million plus video is the quality of the video, right? Whereas I think with a smaller account that doesn't necessarily have the authority that comes with a bigger account, I don't think it's not quite the same game, I don't think, when it comes to like quality and quantity. And I think posting quantity, like you said, when you have a smaller account is probably better, because you're throwing darts at the wall. Like, you just see what works and hopefully get lucky.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for example, I have a retort channel, which is more of just a non-gaming. I do kind of reaction or just talking. And then I have my gaming channel. I posted the exact same video, which was a non-gaming video. I just had obviously more subscribers on YouTube on my main channel. It was just a joke about Steve Irwin versus another Steve, and the video got 100K on my main channel, but it only got, you know, 100 views on my alternative channel, and that was only because I had the following, and so the authority of average video. So an average video, sorry, I hit the mic. An average video performed way better, but you really need, you know, that video probably needed to be, you know, a 10 out of 10 to even get 100K views on my secondary channel.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, Whereas, yeah, was that on YouTube or TikTok?
Both of those videos were on YouTube. I didn't even post that one. I think I did post it at my TikTok page, but YouTube is one thing I learned from YouTube Shorts versus TikTok is that you don't have to. Everyone thinks that they're niched down too far on YouTube Shorts if you're just posting mainly YouTube Shorts. I found that you can post whatever content you want, and it has a chance of long term blowing up to 100K, a million views. But on TikTok, you're really niched into a certain category once you get into that niche. And it takes multiple videos to try to get out of that niche once you have a following with a certain category or certain game. One thing that I found, but it's so different. I mean, you're basically playing with the lottery half the time with these algorithms.
What else have you found out about Shorts then? Because I haven't spoken to many people about Shorts, but Shorts is a mystery to me. I can't work it out.
It's total mystery. The one thing I noticed is whenever it auto generates a thumbnail, so you can choose from one of 3 frames, but it technically will auto choose the thumbnail on the short shelf. And I found that if you get lucky, or you can plan it theoretically, but if you get lucky and the thumbnail for the short is really good and it fits the title well, the video is going to blow up right away because people will the click-through rate into the short shelf will cause that video to get a lot of views right off the bat. And so if that person's entering the short shelf through your video, even if it's a bad video, YouTube is going to promote it more right off the bat. Long term, it might not perform as well, but you might get 50 to 100K views within the first hour or two. But a video that does good in terms of the watch duration might have 2,000, 3,000 views, even with the 100K subs. But long term, that video will still perform really well as well. You just won't get many views off the bat. But side note, I saw that YouTube starting to allow you to choose the thumbnail for shorts, which is really interesting. You can only do on Android, so I might have to borrow a friend's Android until it's on iPhone and desktop. But it's strange. Right now, they're testing it with Android to be able to choose any thumbnail you want for a short, which is actually really, I think, a bigger deal than people are realizing. Because title and thumbnail even on a short, you don't think about it. I mean, obviously, for a YouTube video, thumbnail and title is everything with click-through rate, but a short, it's almost just as important as a long-form video.
On Android, is it as in uploading a thumbnail or choosing from the video?
I've heard I think you can choose any frame from the video, so you can't upload you can't upload an actual thumbnail. You can just choose from a single frame, which it still makes it easy because you can make the very first frame in your edit to be what your thumbnail you want it to be, and then you can just choose that first frame. But
I think it's only a matter of time before YouTube just rolls that out. Like, let's be honest, they're not dumb. And I agree with you about the thumbnails because you see that shorts are now on your homepage. Like, I don't know how long ago it appeared for everyone, but for me it was like a couple of months ago. And I start clicking on shorts. Like, my behavior is because they're right there. And if I see one that is like, what's that? I click on it and I'm like thinking, wait, like, other people are going to be behaving like this as well. So surely the thumbnail of the short and the title are going to be significant. And I've actually, it's the only video that I've got that's actually not just plummeting like that on shorts, and it's getting impressions. It's getting about 500 impressions a day and a click-through rate of about 7%. And it's probably being, I think it's like, I get the feeling that if you've got the good title and thumbnail, you get on that that little front row bit with the good, and you start then getting impressions rather than it just going like that and then nothing.
It's a total mystery. There's definitely different ways. YouTube will promote shorts for different various reasons. So if it's like really good with the title or really good with the thumbnail, that to click people in versus the watch duration being really good, it'll promote it. It'll promote the video in different areas of the app. I feel like, so yeah, I definitely agree with you there. But yeah, it's total mystery. Still trying to trial and error it, but that's where posting as much content as possible. People always get concerned because a lot of my videos on TikTok that have 1 million views never get many views on YouTube and vice versa. So it's definitely a different audience, different app altogether.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's weird how you can have one video do blow up on rare that you get the same video blow up on Reels, Shorts, and TikTok.
Oh, I've never had a video blow up on Reels, but
I've given up.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you, unless you know what I say, unless you're selling a product on their platform, they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's what it's turned into.
I started a vehicle Instagram, and I posted my very first reel got 2 or 3 million views, and I have now more followers on a Instagram account with one video than I do on my main gaming account, which is a little upsetting to me because I try to grow my gaming account, but I think Instagram just likes real life content, and also you know, like the cars and things like that. So
what do you mean you posted a reel and it got what was it?
It was a reel related to so I started the card channel. It's a secret card channel. Don't tell anyone. But I won't go too in depth. But it was related to a video game perspective of a vehicle going down the road. So definitely more entertaining. It was a 360 cam, and so it definitely caught the eye, and also had some engagement because it was like a scripted video too. So I kind of trolled people in it. I kind of trolled the car enthusiasts too into hating on the video, which drives more engagement. So a lot of people are commenting, I hate this guy, and but pretty funny.
Nice. Well, we can carry on talking about short form content then, because obviously you can comment on this, but to me it looks like you're predominantly Warzone mixed in with a little bit of kind of lifestyle and variety. What, like, with the new Warzone, Warzone 2, how has that and the new features, and maybe in particular proximity chat, like how has that changed the way that you think about creating content? Has it been an exciting time for you? Have you found it difficult? I don't know, has it been challenging, or you've kind of been relishing in it and loving the fact that there's tons of new stuff to kind of create in different ways?
I think like both for the live stream side and also for the short and YouTube long form side, I found it's a lot easier to entertain even when you're not getting high kill gameplay. So before you would have to be a little bit more creative in terms of during the Warzone game if you're not getting high kills. Like for example, Timmy Toucan is running people over with vehicles, or trying to do some sort of creative thing inside Warzone. Now everyone can just sit and kind of call out for people in Warzone and try to have a funny conversation, which makes it easier for everyone. But at the same time, it kind of dilutes that pool. So it was me and myself included, everyone's trying to jump onto that bandwagon when it first started, because the first week or two it was brand new proximity chat in a new game, and so it was getting a lot of views. I haven't tried it in the past week or so, but I feel like it's starting to die down a little bit in terms of the nuance. I guess the feeling of it being a new feature of the game. So not many people are sharing it as much with their friends anymore, but it was definitely something that you wanted to in the first couple of weeks to kind of jump on that bandwagon to capture as many views as possible, because there was a lot of hype around the proximity chat. So I think long term proximity chat will always be there. It'll be another tool to use in terms of entertaining people, but definitely trying to think outside the box and be more creative, because everyone can be funny through proximity chat. So what's going to differentiate yourself? Everyone, I'm sure I've seen everyone have a million view video with proximity chat at this point, all my friends. So, what should I do that's different that fits my branding? Is that going to be proximity chat? At this point, maybe I'll sprinkle in proximity chat in my Warzone content, but starting to think of, I have some ideas that are going to intertwine real life and Warzone, or real life and video games. So I think it'll be really entertaining to see as well, that because while everyone's kind of funneling on the proximity chat feature, I feel like now to differentiate yourself, you got to do something else. So I think that's the case with content all around, not just proximity chat, but with anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I think you saw it in Warzone. The content was just stale because everyone had basically done and copied most styles of content. And I think, I agree. Proximity chat is maybe you're right, and the hype is dying down. And people will get the occasional viral video from proximity chat. But I guess my question is, and maybe you comment on this, is that, like, do proximity chat videos convert to Twitch, to me, I would say a type of video like that wouldn't convert very well.
Yeah, that's a great question. I've seen, for example, I had one proximity chat video get 1 million views, and maybe I saw 20 people cycle through my Twitch. I had maybe 50 new followers from that viral video, which is not that good of a conversion for getting that many impressions on a video. So again, unless the proximity chat is really showing your personality, it's not going to convert right. So if let's say it's someone else doing something funny, no one's really going to care about following you for something that someone else did. But if you're doing something that's unique and entertaining, I know there's a couple of people out there that have been doing some stuff that they are being funny in proximity chat, then it might convert a lot better. And I know, like, for example, Timmy Toucans, or Aaron the Loco. I don't know if you know him as well. Those are two that are, that do proximity chat in a really well way, where they're showing their personality, which drives probably a little bit better conversion than just the normal proximity chat video.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I've seen a few. It's interesting you say that. Yeah, like there's the people that are, I guess, relying on other people, the actual proximity chat content to get the video to go viral, which probably doesn't convert. But if you can create your own style of where you are creating the narrative around the proximity chat, and that's what's funny, not the actual the engagement is part of the funniness, but not you're creating kind of the unique way of integrating proximity chat into
definitely. Or like Lucci, like doing a story driven proximity chat video where you're telling a story about your experience in Warzone, and then it just happens that proximity chat just adds another layer to that video.
Yeah.
So definitely.
What have you found to be the best converting videos then? Over the time of you creating, have you noticed anything? Have you looked into it and gone, oh yeah, this converts, well I'm going to kind of double down on this, or you just kind of hit and miss? No idea still.
I will say with certainty that I have the most, for good and bad, I would say this is more so for bad than good, because especially on short form content, you want to really niche down to a certain type of video and hit that over and over and over again to start to get more followers. But for me, I've really done just so many different types and styles of videos. IRL, I've done the types where it's more scripted and trying to do like a funny joke. I've tried to do storytelling. I've tried to do proximity chat. I've tried doing so many different avenues, and I've seen that every type of video will convert if it's a really, really good video. So a well done video in any sort of niche or genre within Warzone or within gaming can do well and can get you followers. But if you stick to just one, all your followers might only be for that reason. So at least I'm trying to dabble in a little bit. It's good practice for me to try to make different styles of videos for my long-term content creation career, in terms of, okay, I need to make a video about this. Oh, I know how to do that because I have so much practice. I have so many reps doing different types of videos. Whereas if I was just funneled in trying to do one type of video, if I try to break out of that niche or break out of that video style, then that video is going to be a flop instantly, because I just don't have that practice. But I would say I'm like average at everything, not good at one thing, which it's got its pluses and minuses. But I've definitely seen where certain videos will get you, 10K followers, and other videos will get you 1 million views, but only 500 followers, right? It just, the conversion can be so different across the board. And I would say, for example, a proximity chat where I'm trying to smooth talk someone's mom and joke around with her, that one got me 5K followers, not bad. And another video where it's maybe me doing something really cool in Warzone, it's kind of like an action movie, that also can get me 5K followers or 10K followers off 1 million views. But then another video where it's the same thing but executed less well, but it might get the views, might get the impressions, but doesn't convert over as much. So there's a difference between the views and views that are relative or matter to your brand. So you need to separate those. You need to realize that 100K views on a good video, or on a video that you've thought out that fits your brand, is better than a video that gets 10 million views that doesn't fit your brand, that doesn't fit what you're trying to convey to the viewer, or what's for instance, let me backtrack. What is your goal with the video in the beginning? Like, what are you trying to convert them to your live stream? Are you trying to get them to come over to your YouTube channel? Are you trying to get them just to follow? What is the call to action on that video? And so I believe that you need to come into, you need to edit that video with that intent beforehand, instead of just trying to spew out videos trying to get views for no reason, because you're not going to get that conversion. If you're just chasing views, you're not going to see a conversion on your Twitch. You're not going to see a conversion on your YouTube. You're not going to see a conversion on follows to your TikTok. So I think if you have that goal when you make the content to begin with, then I think you'll find that better conversion down the road. Even if it's less views, you might get 10x less views, but those followers that you do get might stick around, might be more loyal to your content long term, which is more beneficial.
Yeah, that's such great advice. Like, that is, I have similar thoughts around. I wish I used to do that, in terms of, like, instead of just pumping out videos, being like, okay, like, what's my priority in terms of what do I want to grow? Is it my TikTok account? Is it my Twitch? Is it my YouTube? Well, I would say I probably want a mix of all three, right? Like, in some balance. Like, so, like, when I'm planning my content, I should make sure that every week or every so often I'm doing one that's specific for a YouTube conversion, one that's specific for a Twitch conversion, one that's maybe just something that's not going to convert, but it's going to farm a load of views. Like, exactly. I think that's a really clever way of thinking about it. But you have to be really, you have to have kind of intent with that sort of thinking. Mm-hmm. You have to be, like, in your plan, like, I don't know, where you plan your content, like, reminding yourself to do that, like, it's easier said than done, isn't it? Yeah. You can quite easily get lost in that cycle of just pumping out videos without really knowing what the actual goal of the video was.
Definitely.
I think a lot of creators go through that.
One thing too, in terms of when I'm posting, you can definitely start chasing views. So it's definitely easy to lose focus of what is the goal with the TikTok, what is the goal with YouTube, what is the goal with Twitch. Some people use Twitch to drive viewers over to other platforms. Some people use TikTok to drive people over to YouTube. And it's really it's a tough thing to stay disciplined on, and it's something I think that every creator should probably practice a little bit more of, because I definitely I fall guilty to wanting to chase the views sometimes, because it's cool seeing a couple videos back to back at 1 million views, but is that really helping me long term if it's not a video that's going to help my branding? Like, if I'm posting a video that doesn't show my face, not my branding's not there, and it's just a funny clip or a funny meme that I'm trying to chase because it's a trend on TikTok, no one's going to convert over, right? I might get a few TikTok followers, but no one's going to know that's me. No one's going to care about my branding from that. So definitely try not to chase the views. That's my number one thing I need to focus on more too.
I was going to ask this later, but I might as well ask it now. Like, what is your goal then? Like, what out of what you've just spoken about, like, what is it your goal with content? How do you bracket and categorize your goals for the content and its purpose?
I think for me, long term, I want to have a YouTube channel and a live stream that have a lot of synergies with one another, where I'm posting content to my YouTube, and then I can sort of break it up into my Twitch or wherever I'm live streaming, and make my YouTube videos from my live streams. That's more difficult than people think. I guess more difficult than what people make it out to be, in terms of scripting your live streams to make it into a YouTube video. It's easy for certain things. If I was better at Warzone, I could probably make more. I would kind of narrow myself down, niche myself down into making Warzone content specifically. But I think for me, doing maybe one major concept a month and using TikTok to build a brand with some side videos, or promoting my YouTube long form, or promoting my Twitch streams, and then having my YouTube be something where it's one major event, one major thing that's going to happen. That's maybe some sort of storytelling component to it, and then the live stream, it just really there honestly to connect with my viewers and have fun, and then maybe down the road have some sort of thing where the YouTube and the live streams connect, where the live streams can be a part of the events, and then the YouTube can just be an edited, well cut version of what happened on the live stream, and have those two things, and so the viewer can watch one or the other. They don't have to watch both at the same time. But yeah, that's a great question in terms of, I think I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But live streams, can be a waste of time unless you're really kind of focusing on, okay, how am I going to make this content for my TikTok or for my YouTube? That's definitely hard, even for myself.
I think it almost looks easier than it is, or sound like everyone says that you need to do it, like plan your live stream for content, but like actually like not scripting, but like subtly planning out time and how you're going to do stuff on a stream. And I don't know whether it takes away some of the enjoyment of the live streaming being live and kind of not scripted, like I don't know whether kind of, I'll be like, do you know what, fuck it, like I planned that whole stream, but I'm feeling the stream is taking me this direction, let's just go in this direction.
Yep. And that's what happens. I usually end up improvising half the time, or something happens that was not planning, and then suddenly you're going 3 hours down a rabbit hole, and is that something that you can make into content? I'm not sure. And YouTube, it's so specific. You really need to, I guess, from all the YouTube gurus, they always say to come up with the thumbnail and the title before you even come up with the video concept. So when you're going into a live stream, improvising or something, that's very difficult to try to twist it from a live stream improv into a YouTube title and thumbnail that's going to actually work. And then same with TikTok too. I mean, TikTok, I've seen Sweet Tales and some other people do it where they just take clips and those can go viral. But that's a really rare trait to have in terms of having constant viral moments in your live streams. It's very, very difficult. So scripting as much as you can is really helpful. And I think over time, I'm starting to see myself get a little bit better with scripting. I know, I think you've spoken to Break before. I think he suggested Notion for me. So, I mean, I didn't used to script my videos as much, but I've been using Notion recently, and I just,
oh, nice.
I love that app because I'm over here. Whenever I have an idea now, I can type it in. I can see if it's an idea or if I'm scripting it, or like how far into the scripting process am I? And then I essentially have 50 different scripts that I'm constantly working on. And then, maybe after a month that one of those 50 scripts will finish. So instead of, because my head's all over the place with so many different ideas, it's hard to just focus on one idea and just like go from start to finish, ideation over to scripting, to recording, to editing, to posting. You're not just usually focusing on one video. You're usually focusing on 100 videos. And then if, you happen to get more progress done with one video, then that's the video that you're going to post. I guess that's how I see it.
Wait, how long have you been using Notion for?
Let's say about 3 months now.
Oh, 3 months. Oh, a little bit of time then.
Yeah. So it's, I have a few templates I use, and I'm using more and more in my life, not just for content creation but it's definitely been a time saver, and it's been, I used to use my notes app to keep track of all my ideas, and what happens is that you just lose those ideas as the idea list gets longer and longer. Yeah. So at least you can kind of stay on top of, you can set some deadlines for yourself. I also use it for sharing with editors now too. Yeah. So it's, and then they can also maybe help tweak the script too. And it's just it's so helpful. It's
it's super helpful.
Yeah.
I love it. I've recently just made a big change on I've been using it for about 4 years, and I had all these, so you might want to do this, you might not, but
yeah.
A lot of people saying you should have a master database for everything, not everything, but in threes. So I have 3 master databases now: an idea master base, a to-do master database, and a resource master database. So basically, every single idea I have related to any project in my life goes in the idea master list, and then I create separate pages for each project, and then I import the master idea database and create the filters, put in and out the properties that I want, and then it's there, and then you can just move them all around. It's like, oh mate, before I having so many different databases, like just because I like start a page, new database, new database, new database. When you like condense them all together, honestly, you would be like, oh my god, takes a bit of time putting them, starting again, but I'll have a look into it. Like,
I'll need to set some time aside just to maybe organize, just have like what you said, maybe like 2 or 3 databases that are just the main 3 that I use to kind of I guess make my workflow work around. But right now it's a little disorganized, I will say that. I got used to Notion.
I know
the first couple, like obviously it takes some time to get used to Notion, but I think I'm to the point where I think I need to take that step and just a day or 2 of just making sure it's a clean workflow like that. Definitely.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I just got to a point where mine was just getting really messy, really just like, oh my god, this is like so messy now. And then I was like, John, I'm just gonna don't need this, like cleared it all out, and now it's like super organized, like lots of different tabs with, because since they introduced the kind of nested databases where you can have like them like on the top of each other and you can have all the different views, that is like is so good. So it just like when you're ready, we'll sit down, I can show you mine and I'll show you what mine is, and you can see whether you'd like it or not. Because whenever I often watch different people. It's really interesting to see how different people use it, because there's so many different ways to use it. And when I see someone using it in a certain way, I'm like, fuck, I just never even thought about doing it like that. I'm like, that's so fucking good. And then yeah.
If we had that in 1776, the Revolutionary War would have been over in like 2 weeks. So
yeah. But we were talking a bit about conversion, and so I'm interested to talk about conversion on Twitter then, because I recently saw a tweet from you about related to the Amouranth stuff, which we'll proceed to after this question. Around, so I believe from that, what's happened there is that you gained a huge amount of traffic to your Twitter page, and I saw you kind of making a reference to the kind of the lack of followers. I think, wait, was it like over 100k view? Was it 100k? Talk me through the numbers. I can't remember what they were.
So just in December alone, so I guess it was at December 4th. I mean, like the impressions kind of slowed down because I haven't really tweeted the last couple of days, but the first week of December I had 180,000 profile visits. I had over that's it. Yeah, something like 5 or 6 million impressions total on my tweets that week. But yeah, I've always known the conversion from profile visits to actual follows is usually bad, but it was always on a smaller scale for me, like for like maybe 10k profile visits, and I would get, let's say, 20 followers or 50 followers. But to see that you have 150,000 users, or I'm sure there's a couple that are the same person. I don't know if it's probably not unique users, but having 150,000 people clicking onto your profile, viewing your page, and then not following you, it's like, okay, what do I need to do with my profile? Obviously, I'm not converting the best that I can. Usually, like obviously, a good benchmark for conversions is 1% for anything, right? Yeah. But I mean, that's less than 1%. So like obviously, maybe I need to fix up my Twitter a little bit. Or I think over time, impressions are still good, even on Twitter. That's why Twitter's so beneficial, is because even when people are not liking your tweet, even when people are not following you, I've noticed that people that have never liked my tweet, followed me, or never engaged with my tweets whatsoever. I've seen this with other streamers. They will still recognize your brand or your name, not from TikTok, not from YouTube, but from Twitter. And so impressions are still valuable, even if they're not following you. So, and then again, if they see, usually for anything, if they see your tweets 2, 3, 4 times, then that might convert into a follow eventually. So I think it's about doing it consistently. So if you're consistently getting people to jump into your page and say, oh, who is this guy? Because especially my profile photo is a very goofy, like I changed it to something where it just looks very outlandish. And the fact that who's this content creator that is dressed up as a founding father and he's tweeting about Amouranth or something, right? There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna click in and probably view that. Yeah. Especially too, I think, well, we can get to the Amouranth situation, but a lot of people that are clicking in are also not people that would be long-term viewers of BenJammins, most likely, right? So it could be, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, who the hell is this guy that's dating Amouranth? but they're not entertaining, or they're not wanting to watch a founding father play video games or do something funny. Maybe they're just into, hot tub streams or something, right? You never know.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go on to it then. So you said this. I'll let you start it from the beginning, from when you came up with this wild thought of dating Amouranth.
Okay, so I would say May of 2021. It was like about 6 months into my content creation journey. I did a hot tub stream, and for me at the time, it did really good, and everyone loved it. I was getting a lot of praise from other content creators, and I tweeted at Amouranth something about doing a hot tub collab just as a joke, and it, I got some. I have to look. It was for my Twitter at the time. I probably only had 1,000 followers or 500 followers, and it got pretty good engagement. I don't remember if she liked the tweet or not, but she followed me. So she followed me.
Win.
And then it's like, but over the course of a year and a half, she never engaged with any of my tweets. I think she liked one of my tweets one time ever. But after TwitchCon San Diego, she, I knew she did not mute me yet on Twitter. So that was a good sign, because I liked one of my VIPs on my Twitch channel. They got a picture with Amouranth at TwitchCon. So I liked their tweet. And then when I liked their tweet, usually if you're following someone, obviously if you're following someone and that person that you're following likes something that you're tagged in, you'll get notified of a tweet that is of someone that's not someone that you don't know of. Because usually if there's a lot of people that are tagging you, you're not going to get those notifications. You're only going to get notifications on your phone or on your Twitter of people that you follow. So I liked that tweet of one of my VIPs, and then she saw it like right after she liked the tweet too. So I'm assuming that she got notified of the tweet. So I'm like, okay, she didn't mute me yet. So I was like, like in the next month or two, I was talking to another lad, and another friend. I was talking to Break, and I was like, okay, I'll just shoot my shot. I'll be like, okay, I think it'd be really funny that these two people that are in completely different niches of Twitch. One's a goofy founding father. Obviously, no one takes him seriously, and then you have Amouranth, who's like the #1 female creator on Twitch. It would just be really funny. It would be really funny to see some sort of collaboration. So, and the only thing I really know about her is I know she likes horses. So it's like, okay, well, horse and buggy. Let's do some sort of colonial date of some sort. And then she replied the 1776 retweets, and I got the 1776 retweets, and. Well, she ended up saying on her stream that she wasn't expecting me to get the 1776 retweets, but she's totally sold on the idea of the date. So we're gonna be doing that. So I think we'll really enjoy it, even though we're two separate entities or two separate genres of Twitch, I would say. But I think the collab will be definitely entertaining just because of the yin and yang of our stream styles, I guess. For sure.
Wait, where are you at with it now? So you are trying to get a date for I assume you're doing a co-stream, like an e-date co-stream?
Yeah, so it's not gonna be it's gonna be an in-person date.
An in-person date.
Date
nice.
in January. So we have a date set in January for an in-person date on her stream. So that will be definitely very interesting. So it's gonna be
that's sick.
It's gonna be a long. It's gonna be I would say I think we're aiming for like 5 or 6 hour date. So, and I have a lot planned. This entire week I've posted 0 content. I've shot some stuff over to editors to kind of work on some things in the background, but for the most part, I've been really focused on planning out some stuff. And so I shot her over just a general concept, and then I'll, after that, it's just a matter of me coming up with maybe some little viral moments that could potentially do well on Twitter, right? You have to think outside the box, because when you're collabing with someone that was kind enough to collab with you, you want to make sure that you're going all out with the content for not just for yourself, but for them too. And you want them to enjoy it too. So definitely trying to think outside the box with what would a founding father do on a colonial date with, a top Twitch streamer. So I definitely have come up with a lot of ideas. I don't want to spoil any, but stay tuned in the month, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, just fuck off the rest of your content, like prioritize.
Yeah,
like,
because like
completely.
this, a collab like this, I mean, I could, even that really helps with potential future collabs too. And I guess another reason why I shot, like, no matter who it was, I think shooting your shot with bigger creators that you think that you have no chance to ever collab with, it's
Yeah,
always worth it, because I don't know if you've ever heard of Z-Laner, but Z-Laner, he shot a shot by tweeting at Dr. Disrespect, and Dr. Disrespect saw it, and obviously they play together every week. So I saw that, and I've researched a lot of bigger creators, and like, okay, how did they become big? How did they get to that next level in terms of their content creation, and in terms of their branding on a global scale in the content creation world? And it's almost never having to do with the number of impressions they get. So almost never about how many views they get on their own videos, unless they're getting tens of millions of views on long form. It's usually about the collabs that they do with bigger creators. So collabs is definitely the most important thing, especially for, I think, BenJammins in the future, is doing some sort of collabs, whether it's virtually, in real life, whether that's fake dates, or just like, for example, I've talked about going to the gun range with Alexandra, which she was an actress for Call of Duty from 2 years ago. Doing little things like that, those are, I think, more beneficial in terms of getting more eyes on your brand than just a normal video.
That's really interesting. You said that about the growth of top creators based off collaborations. I didn't really know that. I never really thought about that. Kind of making me in my head think I want to interview Harris Heller for my podcast. So I just don't. He is the biggest. And I actually thought this the other day. I thought, fuck it, why don't I just send him an email? The worst he can say is no.
Exactly.
And if he says no, then I'll wait a bit of time and come back again. So yeah, do you know what I think? Just on that, I think the thing with the brand that you've created, I think you have, like bringing it back right at the start, you have something different, and I think what that does in your favor is when you shoot your shot at a bigger creator, you have a clear value offering of a content that they could create with someone like you. You're not just there just in normal clothes playing Warzone. I'm good at the game. Oh, well, what can they offer me?
Yeah.
You offer something where it's obvious, like, okay, I can shoot some content with the founding father. We could do some funny shit there. Like, it's so clear straight away, and I think that probably really bodes in your favor when it comes to collaborations with people.
No, exactly. I mean, there's a million people that are bigger creators than me, even just in the Warzone space. Look, I mean, there's 1,000 people that have bigger followings, bigger live streams than me, but in terms of, I bring something completely different to the table. There's no one else that's a colonial founding father, or even, I guess, even remotely similar in terms of that type of branding. I get compared to Dr. Disrespect the most. That would be the most similar in terms of that. But his actual branding, I would say, is still that, like, gamer mentality. Just trying to do the game really well, and not really. I see BenJammins, I think, long term doing those collabs in terms of being more in real life, being outgoing, being the life of the party, being just that goofy guy that's a part of the friend group, a part of the conversation. Because you can interject BenJammins into any scenario, and it just automatically becomes funny. I think people find, I could be doing laundry, I could be just outside walking on the street, and I was in New York City, I was just walking, and you have 100 people taking photos of me and stuff like that, just because they see if you see me in public, in person, you just automatically find it goofy and funny. So just definitely bring something a little different to the table. And that's where I have a different niche where I'm at the top of the founding fathers of content creation, right? There's, I'm at the very bottom of just normal content creation, but for my category, I'm at the very top, which definitely helps out.
Ah, well said. Who would be your dream person or brand to collaborate with?
Great question. I don't know if I've really thought about it. I would love, there's so many different creators I would love to potentially collab with down the road. Am I ready for that? Who knows? I love Ludwig. I would say it's one of my favorite creators.
Same. He's so good.
Yeah, I love Ludwig. I think, down the road, XQC would be really funny, because I can see XQC just absolutely roasting BenJammins, and I think that would be so funny just to see that, like, what that interaction would be like. Obviously I love, like, Tim the Tatman. I love Nick Merckx. I've met Nick Merckx at one of his meet and greets before. He thought the whole thing was kind of funny.
I saw that you did a TikTok on that, didn't you? Yeah. Did he kiss your forehead?
Yeah, he signed my forehead with a claw.
He signed your forehead, so he signed your forehead.
Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, he pressed down really hard into it, and the ink was not working, unfortunately, so I didn't get the signature. But I have a scar on my forehead from it.
Worth it.
Oh, 100%.
All right. Well, I think before we wrap up, then I was interested to know. I mean, we've kind of discussed it a little bit, like we're coming to the end of the year, and I guess going into 2023, everyone has their own way of setting their own goals and thinking about what they want to achieve. But I think the new year does bring a nice opportunity to kind of remotivate yourself to get stuff done that you haven't done. I'm wondering, like, what is that for you? Is there anything that you are really wanting to do next year that kind of you haven't quite got a chance to do? You've been on your list for a while, or something that's just come around kind of in your head, and you're like, oh, that's the vision, that's where I want to go.
Yeah, I definitely want to do long form videos consistently that are story based, related to my branding, that is also a story driven collaboration long form video. Try to do that once a month or so. So collaborations, and tying that into how can I do collaborations live, but also cut that into a YouTube video. So that's my goal for 2023. Is
that the primary focus? You say, yeah.
So definitely collaborations for sure is on the top list, and also not just the collaborations, because I still want to also grow my YouTube channel. I want to do that in terms of using. I forgot the official terminology, but it's called social. I forgot what it was. Airrack does it, where he blew up because he would take bigger names and he would use them as the clickbait into the video, and then he would have a really good video. So for me, it's like trying to get bigger names, but also have a really good video to keep people on the channel at the same time. I think also branching out of the gaming category a little bit too, because I think I see BenJammins. There's more potential out there that's not just gaming, but also tying gaming and also the IRL kind of things together into one, because there's no one that's really in the gaming category that does also IRL too. I don't know if there is. I don't know if you know any that do IRL.
I mean, there are a few, but probably not in a character like you, I would say. Yeah. So I think you definitely still be unique in that perspective.
Definitely. So yeah, that's a goal. I guess collabs number one. Especially after doing so much research. I've watched the life story, or tried to research the life story on, the top 50 streamers or content creators, and especially on Twitch. And usually it's some lucky break, some lucky tweet, some collaboration or some trigger event that kind of snowballs their careers. And so that's
the life story of 50.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like
which ones should I watch? Any that are good?
The one, I mean, I'm not a fan of Miskiff, but the Miskiff one was really interesting because he started off as like a editor or something, and then and I don't know. They're all interesting in their own way though.
I'll have a look. Just one more question actually, because I had this question in my head earlier, and you've just reminded me of it. You said editing. You said you have an editor, and I like asking this question because it's a challenge that I think every streamer content creator faces. When did you get an editor, and what do they do?
I find it really hard to find an editor that understands the short form platform, because
this is exactly what everyone else says.
Usually the people that are really good at short form content can just blow up their own brands, because
they don't other people.
It's an art form half the time. Like, I don't even have it down myself. I think a very few select people can go viral every single time, because every quarter second counts. The everything, the color of the font counts. Every little thing is just psychology to try to keep a user engaged for another second. I would say that for me specifically, getting a couple long form editors, because I think for that it's more so you still have to have the concept be a good concept, but at the end of the day it's about quantity over quality for long form. Besides the thumbnail and title would have to be really high quality, but otherwise you don't want to be spending so much. You don't want to spend 12 hours editing a video, which I honestly, for short form, I spend 12 hours editing a video. So if I spent the same amount of I guess quality time editing a long form video, I could be editing a video for an entire week. So for short form, I found someone to do short form videos here and there, but for the most part, I think once you're, I guess, to relate to the question, when do you actually want to find an editor, or when is the right time to hire an editor? I think the right time is when you find yourself spending a majority of your time editing and not actually creating new content. You want to try to start to offload some of that work onto someone else's plate, so you can start making more content on your live streams and also start scripting yourself, because at the end of the day, the scripting and actually recording content, you can only do. An editor can, even a average edited video is better than no video, because if you're only outputting one video a week, then I don't know, it just it goes back to it. This whole conversation depends upon where you're at in your content creation career and how many followers you have, because again, quality versus quantity. Where are you at in your stage of your career? Should you do more quality? Should you do more quantity? I guess it really depends, but again, end of the day, it just all depends. So like for me, for instance, I guess in my personal case, I was spending so much time editing. I'm spending 10, 12 hours sometimes editing a 60-second video. So at that point, it cuts into me being able to live stream. It cuts into me being able to do other scripts for other videos. So I don't want to be captioning for an hour. I don't want to be cutting this down for an hour. Is there something where I can at least maybe just watch the video a couple of times, put a couple of notes and throw it over to someone? Even if I'm spending $60, $80 for a short form video, I could be making up that money by streaming for 4 hours and making that in subs on Twitch. But if you're a new streamer, then also obviously if you have no viewers, you also want to put more time into editing yourself, because if you don't know how to edit yourself, then how are you going to tell an editor what to do, because you don't know what to do either. So I think this is another tough question, is when do you shift from doing your own editing, learning edits yourself, and then switching it over to having a team do it for you? That's, I think, a tough part. I think I'm just getting over into that transition period myself, and you do see a loss in quality. I mean, the viewers do too, but again, it's better than not outputting as much content as you probably should. So, great question.
I guess you gotta take that hit at first when the quality might be down a little bit, because you're using a new editor, and it takes them a little bit of time to get used to your own style and better align with your content.
And you can tell an editor a million times a certain thing, and they will not do it again on the next video. It's very tough.
Sweet. Well, thank you for all your answers. They were great. I really enjoyed that conversation. Very different. We went in really in depth about some things that I love talking about.
Oh, definitely. I love your content. I mean, I always feel like I have something to say whenever I watch your content, because I always have an opinion on one thing or another. But overall, I mean, like, I haven't seen anyone that does, I guess, the content that you do in terms of kind of breaking down the content creation space, and the tips that you provide are different than the other content creation tip videos I ever see. So I think it's more, you break it down into a more personal level, I think, with that certain creator that you're talking to. And then I think other creators can really relate to that too, instead of just doing some sort of cookie cutter, do X, Y, Z.
Thank you for that. I'm trying to, the reason I started this, because I'm not happy with the education. It's too surface level. It's too generic. It's too the same, or it's focused on how to make your OBS better, how to do plugins, rather than actually how do you navigate this extremely complex streaming content creation ecosystem and be successful in it.
Yep.
there isn't a one size fits all model, and it's extremely difficult, and people need to realize that. And I just don't think there's enough honest content out there that says that this is hard. Like, and it's not just hard, it's really fucking hard. Like, you gotta be committed, because I see people like, yeah, no, I want to be a streamer. Like, I'm committed. I'm like, tell me that in 6 to 12 months, then when you've basically are doing 40 hours a week of content, you've barely got any growth, then we'll see whether you're committed.
Exactly.
But yeah, people just need to learn. They need to be willing to learn and continue to learn and continue to improve. I think a lot of people struggle with that, is that like this, the only way to get more views is to get better, but you have to be like constantly learning how to get better, constantly looking at better creators and going, how can I do that? How can I kind of take inspiration from that? And every week be doing that. Like I get the impression that you'll probably have the same mindset, in that like you're never done in a certain aspect with being good enough. Like, you always have to be better.
There's always something to improve and someone to study, and exactly, it's never ending.
Yeah. Well, before I wrap it on, then let's wrap up. So what days do you stream, just for people watching? How can they find you? Where's the best place to find you? And anything else you want to chuck in?
Sure. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, usually at nighttime. Right now, I'm trying to eventually increase the stream schedule times that I stream, but for right now, I'm kind of backtracking on really streaming at all right now, while I'm focusing on those couple of things that we discussed. But for the most part, you can follow me on Twitter. Keep tabs on me there. Twitter.com/BenJammins. I have an alt account. People find my alt account. I have a secret Twitter account.
Yeah, I got it.
I've never liked a tweet with my main. I've never retweeted a tweet, but for some reason people found it, and then now it's kind of taken off a little bit, which is kind of funny. But otherwise, I guess if you want to connect with me on Twitter, reach out to me via DM there. I'm the most active there for the most part. And then, we do have a Discord. I do have YouTube and other stuff, but that's all secondary. You can find the founding father on Twitter.
Nice. Wow. I appreciate your time. Appreciate the answers you've given to my questions. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, Ben.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation. Really enjoyed it. Have a good day.
Thank you, man. Take care.